this last couple of weeks, and this is what I'm going to start with this morning, has been a particularly tough time for me because we have been dealing with a sick animal. So I'm out here with Double this morning, and we've not had a good morning. He's looking pretty depressed, as you can see. He's just really not interested in life this morning. He's off his food. I've been trying to encourage him to eat. What's in the bucket there is some Timothy grass with warm water, which is his favorite grass. He didn't want to eat his regular. Normally I'm giving him Timothy plus sugar beets and some alfalfa. He's 27 years old, and we're struggling to keep weight on him at the moment because he's lost quite a lot of teeth, and so he can't grind long stem hay. But till now we've been doing okay with the bagged feed, the grass. Until last night, where he rejected some of his food. This morning he rejected again. I could tell he hadn't drunk much, so I tried warming up his food. Then I tried adding blackstrap molasses, which is another thing that he likes, and we haven't had much success. So he just doesn't look himself, and I guess at 27 years old, every day is a blessing, because we just don't know, how much longer we've got left together. But he's been with me a lifetime, a really special horse, and I'm just not ready for it to be the end yet. Why yesterday was so hard on me is that even though Double is 27 years old now, and in the back of my mind, his age might always be a reason for his health decline, and maybe there's going to be a day soon where he decides that it's time to exit this life. But for me, he has been such a huge part of my life that the impact is going to be quite heavy when that happens. And we have done a lot of teaching together. We have been students together. We have been on many adventures, riding in all kinds of different places and situations. We have literally ridden through deserts. We have ridden through mountains. We have been on long distance rides. We have led teams of people. We have herded camels together. We have done little jumping competitions together. And we've just really done a lot of learning together. But aside from that, he has been a quiet companion to me through a lot of transition in my life. And actually, I've known him longer than both my husband and my children. So to have had him in my life that long and have him go through many different seasons of life with me, he has been a place of conversation and just shared time, which has been in many ways very healing for me, because it's allowed me a place to just be myself and to get out and go walking and just enjoy nature and those times where you want to just blast the cobwebs away or get away from it all. And so he's been a very important stabilizing part of my life amidst a lot of transition. So what I'm going to try now, because I know that he's previously had problems with his molars and he has lost some, just in case there is a problem in his mouth, maybe an abscess, maybe pain that's actually stopping him from eating. It's the weekend, so there's no way we can get a vet out, let alone a dentist. But what I can do is I can flush his mouth with a saline solution. So I'm going to use these big syringes and I'm going to dilute 1 tablespoon of salt in a couple liters of water, and I'm just going to give him a rinse around his back molars, see if that all, in case there's anything stuck there, or even if there's not, if there's some pain there, then salt water is something that will help, hopefully. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to email our vet and just see if I can get some advice. What I do have is I have some antibiotic that he had last time we had a problem. This will actually treat abscesses, so I'm going to see if I should maybe start him on a course of that in case there is something. And the other thing that I have here is Bute, which is an anti-inflammatory for horses. And our vet was really good to give us a big tub last time, so if he gives me the okay, I can go ahead and give him that. The problem is going to be getting it into him because he's not eating, so I don't know if I can syringe it in, but there's maybe a couple things that we can try while we wait on a vet actually getting out here. Now, I would argue that when you are proactively caring for an animal and you're feeding it, seeing it to its needs, making sure that its health is taken care of, but there's more to just looking after the physical needs. As we all know, there is also emotional well-being. So I don't think you can not get emotionally involved when you're caring for an animal that way. And you definitely see this maybe more with animals, say like dogs and horses, who you're going to spend more time with. Maybe you have a vocational relationship with, a working partnership where there has to be elements of trust and responsibility, shared responsibilities. But I think that being emotionally invested actually makes it more enjoyable for you, and it makes it more enjoyable for the animal, and it helps that bond develop faster and stronger. And the downside maybe that you might say that getting emotionally involved means that the loss is going to be greater and it's going to be harder. But I think that with most things in life, it's the contrast between the ups and the downs that make it worthwhile. Because if everything was just same, and I'm not going to get emotionally involved because I don't want to have any negative emotional impact when that relationship's over, then yes, I don't get the same amount of grief and sadness, but I don't get the same amount of reward and joy. And I think that nature and creation has been given to us to enjoy. So from my view, I think that getting emotionally involved is right. And animals have emotions too. Obviously, they have different emotions to us and for different reasons, but for sure, they feel scared of things, they feel insecure, they need comfort, they definitely feel aggression, and they can feel possessiveness, they can feel attachment. So I don't think that it's wrong for us to steward an animal's emotions as much as we steward their physical needs.
The other benefits to having an invested relationship with your animal are that when it comes to being able to have the animal's trust in times when he doesn't understand what's being done to him, like you see here me giving the saline mouthwash to Double, you want your animal to be compliant and forgiving when you perhaps need to give him medication by mouth or to give him an injection. And it goes without saying that the larger your animal is, the more challenging things can become if your animal becomes afraid or defensive. Additionally, what has been helping me go through a process of elimination with trying to get to the bottom of what is wrong with Double is that the more you know your animal, his behaviors and his body language, his likes and his dislikes, the more you are going to pick up on what he's trying to communicate to you. With Double, because of our relationship, I instantly know when he's depressed versus just being tired, or when he's anxious versus being excited. I can read his pain expressions and almost get a feeling for what he's trying to communicate about how he's feeling. And I believe that we miss a lot of this when we don't have a strong connection with our animal. After getting to connect with the vet on Monday, he suggested that we try a few days of pain medication to see if it would give him relief from whatever was troubling him in order that he could actually eat something.
So one thing I am going to do before I let him out in the field is I'm going to give him his next dose of pain medication. He's pretty compliant about taking it, but what you do want to watch with horses is that they don't spit it out again, which means if you can get to a place where you're a bit higher than their head so you can hold their mouth up, and also have your medicine ready before you actually get there so that you're prepared.
We gave him a course of anti-inflammatory paste in 3 daily doses, and where it did afford him some relief, and we did get 1 or 2 meals into him, the reluctance to eat or drink continued to persist.
Anyone who knows horses knows that when they are off the food, something is very wrong. He's always been a very hungry eater or a very food motivated horse. So the minute that he goes off his food is really sort of a red flag for me. We have had the vet out backwards and forwards. He's had checks for he's had his blood work done, checks for tumors. He's had his teeth floated. He's had parasite control done. And we're really just ruling out a list of reasons why he could stop eating. But obviously horses can't go a great length of time without eating.
To make matters worse, the weekend brought with it hostile temperatures and 8 inches of snow. Double continued to decline, hanging his head a lot, seeming weak on his feet, and with nothing in his system, he started with diarrhea too. It was really very distressing, and we were running out of options. But then after doing more thinking and reading, I got a hunch.
One of the main problems with horses when they don't eat is because horses have a stomach acid that is present 100% of the time. And the reason that they have a very strong stomach acid is so that when they're eating off the dirt or grasses or things that might have mycotoxins in them, then the stomach acid is there to really to kill a lot of that harmful bacteria that they might ingest. But it means that they are designed to have a constant source of forage going through their system. And so in times when they are not having food go through their system, then what can happen is that stomach acid can start to burn away at the mucosal lining in their stomach and lead to things like gastric ulcers. We're going to treat him as though he has a gastric ulcer. It definitely can be something that's very painful, that could cause him to be depressed or go off his food. And since we've ruled out everything else, and because he hasn't been eating for about a week, I mean, he's probably eaten 1 or 2 meals in the last 7 days. It's getting to the point where, you know, I really want to just make sure that we've ruled out every possible reason. So Caleb has braved it in the truck through the snow to try and get to town where we can pick up some medication.
So we are now 5 days into medication for treatment of gastric ulcers, and I'm suspecting ulcers in the hindgut too. But I'm so happy to report that on day 3 of the treatment, he started eating again like he always has. His demeanor is back to normal and he is regaining strength. It's been a hard 10 days of feeling like I was about to lose a much-loved friend, and as I respect that he is in his winter season of life, if you ask me if we should hold back on investing in such a relationship with these wonderful animals, I'm reminded of that wonderful quote by Alfred Tennyson.
Pretty. Just like the owner.